Hi, I'll be taking you on how to decorate this cake, this lovely pink cake. Now you will be needing butter, sugar, flour, egg, salt, flavor and baking powder. Sorry, I didn't put baking powder up there, but I'll put it in the caption below. Now that's our ingredients. You just need a sachet butter, 2 sachets butter, that is 250 gram. That will give us 500 gram. Now you won't be using scale. You won't be using scale. I want to put you through on how to bake without using a scale. Just your measuring spoon and cup. Just your measuring spoon and cup. That's our flavor. Now all you need is a pan, a mixing pan. You add the 2 sachets butter inside. That's your 500 gram butter, and you add your 500 gram sugar. For those who don't like sugar, you can reduce the sugar quantity. Then you add 2 tsp of your flavor. Then you mix until it is cream and fluffy. When it's cream and fluffy, then you measure your 4 cup of flour, leavened 4 cup of flour. You measure it, then you sieve it inside your butter, sugar and flavor mix that you already mixed. Can you see how pale it is? How it's already light, not yellow. Then you sieve in your flour. You must sieve in your flour. You have to sieve in your flour to remove. Then you add your baking powder. For 250 gram, you'll be needing just 2 teaspoons of baking powder, but now we are doing 500. Then you'll be needing 4. Then you break your egg one after the other. Reason being that you can have a bad egg, but if you trust your vendor, then you can break everything at once. Once you break your egg, then you mix it. Remember to add your salt, just a pinch. That is 1/4, the last spoon. Then you mix very well. You turn it for 10 minutes least. Please don't over mix. That's the batter there. Sorry I've edited the videos, I've lost some. So you add your batter into your pan, into your baking pan that you've put. Your baking pan, you add butter to grease it, then you add flour. I know you can do that. So let's go to mixing. We need 500 gram icing sugar and 125 butter. Then how do we remove 125 butter? 150 butter. Sorry, I mean 150 butter to 500 gram. Then how do you remove it from 250? Then we need to take away 100. Then you divide it into 4. Like you seen I did. The first one is removing 125. You know when we divide into 2, the upper part is 125, the lower part is another 125. So the lower part, there's another 125. You then take the other side and break it into 2 again, meaning that these 2 you broke, you know it's 125. By the time you divide 125, it gives us 75. Then you just make it into 2 again. So the third part of it, you bring it out. That's how you can measure your butter without a scale. With that, we've just measured a 25 gram of butter to the 125. That gives us 150. Then we are left with 100 grams of butter in that nylon. Then you mix your butter. You mix it very well so that you can remove all the lumps in the butter, because those butter usually have lumps. So you have to mix it very well. You ensure you mix very well and you use your spatula to scrape. Here you need a spatula to scrape, or spoon to scrape, to bring it together to mix. Because when you are mixing the spread, then you just need something to bring them back together again and continue to mix until they are light. Here, if you have a mixing machine, you can use it. For those who don't have a mixing machine, this is how you can work without a mixing machine to make your buttercream. Here we are making our buttercream. This type of buttercream is all weather. It dries up easily during rainy season. Anytime is good. Then you add your 1 tsp flavor to your butter, then mix. In that place I was using a milk fantasy flavor. Then you mix all together. You make sure you mix your butter very well. Emphasis on mixing your butter. Then you take your 500 grams of icing sugar, any icing sugar of your choice. Then you sieve it in. You make sure you sieve. You have to sieve because of all the lumps in the sugar also. You have to sieve. Then you add 1 tablespoon of water and half tablespoon of water. Then you mix. Here you have to mix it fast so that it won't have lumps once you've added water to the icing sugar. So you have to mix it very well. Now you are not adding any more water. You just have to mix. By the time you continue mixing, it comes together. You can find someone to help you hold the pan down, or you hold it with your leg, and then your buttercream is ready. Then you remove small portion away from that buttercream. You place it in one side. That's what we'll be using for our cake. Then you add your food color. This is pink acabado food color. Why we don't add too much water is because of this. It is running, so we don't want too much water in our buttercream. By adding this food color, it makes it more lighter a bit. So that's all. Adding your color, then you mix it very well. Bringing your cake out, you have to trim your cake. Whatsoever method you use in baking your cake, oven, stove, anyone, gas, electric oven, you have to trim your cake. When you want a neat cake, when they are cutting through your cake, you must cut out any excess, any black side. And why we cut out this is for your buttercream to stick. When you don't cut this out, you will just be struggling adding the buttercream. The more you add it, it will just be removing. But once you've trimmed your cake, it will not remove. Then the 500 grams of butter we baked, I baked it in 2 pans. This is a size 9 love shape. I bake it in 2 size 9 love shape. I've trimmed the first one. Then the face of the cake, you have to trim it also to make sure it has level. Then you place it on your cake board. Make sure you've put the buttercream on that to hold the cake down. You know you've trimmed the down of the cake, then now you can stick to the board. Place it well. Then this one I'm cutting now it did not level, so I have to make it level. That's why I have to cut it away. Then that white buttercream you've removed, you add it as filling to your cake. Why you put this is for the other cake you are placing on it to stick together. This one you can add fillings. Here is just a low budget filling. This is just a normal topping. Then you can add to your cake. Then you cover it up with the second layer of the cake. You must make sure that the cake all level together. Then you start trimming. This is the most important part of cake. When you see vendors bakers showing you how neat their cakes are, this is what they do. You have to trim your cake. Trim out the ones that are bones. These ones you have to trim it out. Like I said, that is what will make your work neat and also allow the buttercream to stick to your cake. Here for the love shape, you need a cake comb to hold it at the edge. And this love shape, you just have to carve it very well. You have to carve out the love. That's why if you want to bake a size 9, if you want a size 8 cake, you have to bake a size 9 cake. So that by the time you are trimming, you would have trimmed out 1 inch out of the cake. Then here now, you need your pilot knife, whatever kind of pilot knife. This is a small size. We have the bigger size, but I love working with this. Then you start spreading. You see when you spread this buttercream, you will love it. It's just going to be spreading easily, and you have to work fast with it because it dries up. It is not a buttercream that when you touch the cake, it's sticky. So now you make sure the edges, you are pulling the buttercream to the edge so that you can also cover the edge. I repeat, push your buttercream to the edge of the cake. Then you just use your spatula to keep leveling it up. Here you use your cake comb. You can even continue to use your spatula like I did. You just keep making sure that you cover all the whole cake. We call this crumbs coating. You have to crumbs coat your cake to ensure that every crumbs you've coated them. Then you clean your board. In order for you to have a finished job, you clean your board after crumbs coating. When you clean your board, it gives you a lovely finishing, and it won't allow the second layer you're putting on it to have crumbs. When you see cakes with crumbs, so the utensils you've used before, you wash them and clean them again. Will clean your table surface so that you will not put cake crumbs on your cake. Then you add your buttercream. Ensure you spread it to the edge. See the way I'm doing it. I'm making sure I spread the butter to the edge of the cake. This also helps you to get a sharp edge in buttercream. When you don't push it to the edge of the cake, you just see that it keeps coming back. When you are just trying to comb it up, you won't get it. Then you spread. You see how easy it is for you to spread this buttercream. You spread, and this side you add a little portion. You add another one, then you start pushing little by little. Please don't just start scraping it too much. You add the buttercream. You see this 500 gram of cake we bake, 500 gram of flour we baked. We are using just 500 gram of icing sugar to cover it, and you still have it that it will remain. Just make sure you add the buttercream. By the time you are combing, all the butters will come out. When you are just adding it little by little, you just see that the crumbs coat under. If you don't allow it to dry up, maybe because you want to quickly deliver to your customer, it won't sit well, please. So you have to add your butter, then you push and spread it everywhere. Like this love shape, you push and spread. You add it, push and spread it all over the cake. After you do that, you need a cake comb. A cake comb to just scrape out the excess. 4 fingers in front, 1 finger at the back, then you move gently. 4 fingers in front, 4 fingers at the back, then you move gently. For love shape, when you're about to get to the edge, you don't scrape it. You just leave it, then turn it back again, then you scrape gently. You ensure that you make sure you are getting it, and by the time you are scraping, you'll be having excess butter on the comb. Scrape it out. Keep doing until you ensure that the cake is smooth. Yes, that you have a smooth cake. Then how you get your sharp edge? Same thing. 4 hands in the front, 1 hand at the back. Then you move. You ensure you just take it from the edge, pull it. Can you see that? Put it there and pull it. And if you see that you are not getting it very well, take your cake comb, dip it in a lukewarm water, clean it up and start using. You see with that, it also works. Then to get a finished work, you take your palette knife also, scrape the excess butter under. Emphasis on scrape. The down part you might have scraped it, but don't worry, because you'll be piping there, it is going to cover it up. Scrape, then clean your board again, because by the time you pipe the cake, when you add your piping to it, it will be rough. If you don't clean the board, your board won't be neat. Then there we have the coupler. They call it coupler. When you go to a baking store, you get it there. Coupler with a nylon. Yeah, coupler with nylon. This is real thin baking bag. We call it baking bag. I don't know what they call it in your area, but when you go to a store, just tell them you need a piping bag or a baking bag, then they give it to you. Then you add your buttercream, as you see that I'm doing. You add it inside. Then you pull down, removing the excess air underneath. Then you add it to it. You pull it down. Then you start piping. you push, press. Don't worry, in my next video I'll be teaching you how to pipe, how you can easily pipe on your cake. So you just keep piping. There are different styles you can make with this nozzle, different things it can give. Do you see how neat the cake is? Whenever you are working, please ensure your cake is neat. When you are doing your buttercream, after crumbs coating, make sure all crumbs on the table, on the board, you've cleaned them. This gives you a clean job and your customer will love it. Now you keep piping. Do you see that? You keep piping any way you want to, just pipe it. You ensure that you are doing it little by little. And remember, the kind of food color we use here is called baby pink. Normal pink is different. Now on your calligraphy, this is writing on your cake. I just use a black food color in the little buttercream I've put down before. I told you to remove a little. That is for you to ensure that you have something left to use to write. Because if you don't keep little portion of it, there's nothing you use and write. And this is a black color. If you add your black food color to your pink, it might not be coming out very well. It will still come out because it is black. But if you have another color, it's going to change the color. Do you see here? It's breaking. And the reason why it's breaking is that my buttercream is already getting dry. You don't make sure your buttercream is not running. It's already getting dry. That is why. At this level, when you touch the cake, your cake is dried up. Your fingers are already neat. When you touch the cake, you will see that buttercream won't be sticking to your hand. It's dried up already. When it sits for like 1 to 2 hours, you see that it is totally dry. Even the second day, it is dried up. Please don't forget to subscribe and like. I'll be waiting for your comments below. Thank you. Bye.